Welcome bitches, one and all, to my reaction to Season 2, Episode 4 of Heartstopper Challenge. So, last time we had Tao and Elle go on their first date, however, things definitely took a turn for the worse, so I hope this episode we can see them actually come together and have a good conversation and try and understand each other and where each other was coming from, and that there is a lot of love there between them. It's just one of those awkward things going from friendship to relationship. So I hope that they can work it out, and I'm excited to see where they go from here. But yes, anyway, with that said, let's jump back in to the world of Heartstopper. Don't tell me, are we actually getting the Paris trip? Is it happening?
Probably shouldn't sit next to each other on the coach. It could be fun, being a secret again. But I bet you can't last 2 days without kissing me.
Is that a challenge right here?
That is a challenge neither of you want to take up. Bless. Hello, you two. But yeah, I don't know whether I agree with the whole them not sitting together, because I understand what they're trying to do, and Nick is feeling uncomfortable, but he was willing to try and come out and all that. It's just one of those hard situations where it's going to take him time, and Charlie should not have put his own feelings and needs on the back burner. You know, I don't think that Charlie should have agreed to this. Well, it wasn't that Nick even brought it up. I don't think that Charlie should have brought this up to begin with, you know. I know that it came from a place of love for Nick and not wanting to give any more pain to Nick, and Charlie was seeing his request to be an out couple as causing him pain, but that wasn't the case. It just, it's the world we live in, unfortunately. I just feel like this is going to cause a drift between them if Charlie is not honest about his feelings. Awkward vibes.
No, I'm gonna sit with the girls.
Yikes. But can I just say, thank fuck Tao got that haircut, because damn. Huh? Why was Ben looking over like that? Fuck off.
Quiet!
Once again, loving this duo. Yeah, guys, you gotta be honest about your feelings. All of you need to be honest with each other.
Can I ask you like a really weird question?
Yeah?
Before you and Nick got together,
Shh.
how did you know that you liked him in that way?
Interesting.
I just always wanted to be around him, and I literally could not stop thinking about kissing him.
Aw. Bless. Uh-huh. So a couple of things to note from that. Either he is thinking that's how I feel about him, or he's thinking maybe part of that I feel, but a part of it I don't, because we haven't really explored his sexuality, and it would be nice to increase the spectrum of sexualities we have on the show, you know? So I hope we get more into Isaac as the season goes on.
So the bus goes
On the train.
on the train?
Ouais. On arrive aujourd'hui. Je vais bientôt plus avoir de réseau. On est dans le
So
routier.
thick. Wait, hold up. We're going back and listening to that again. Wait a minute, what?
Je vais bientôt plus avoir de réseau là. On est dans le tunnel.
Oh my god!
Tu peux m'envoyer un message quand t'es dispo?
Look at Tao's face!
What the hell was that?
My dad.
Your dad's French?
We're gonna try and meet up. I don't really see him that often. So.
Oh, okay.
Unexpected.
I'm loving their dynamic for like all the reasons that I shouldn't. Like, it's very awkward, and I just love it though. But yeah, I knew that Kit Connor was learning French for the season. I can't remember how I found out. I think it was like in an Instagram thing or something that I saw, and I was like, ah, fuck. So that technically counts as a little spoiler, but I knew that he was learning it and that he was scared that he was going to offend the French people. But I don't know. I don't listen to French, and that sounded all right to me, but I guess the French people will have to decide.
Are we under the water?
Yeah.
Then why can't we see any fish?
You're underground, my darling. The ground beneath the water.
Okay, we're about half an hour away now, everyone.
Fuck yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I went to Paris in year 7 and I wasn't too impressed. I suppose from an adult's eyes, I would like to see it again. But I don't even like London. I feel like it's just a capital city thing.
Literally gonna be the best few days of our lives. I guess I've just been worried about when I said...
Oh, we're bringing it up.
You mean about our prom outfits? Because, you know, I still think we should
Darcy.
be marry it. And my reasoning for this is...
You know damn well what she was talking about. Gotta be honest with her. Like, that would be playing on my mind so much.
Mr. Farouk and I will be in room 203 if you need us.
You and Mr. Farouk will be in the same room, will you?
Oh, do you need a hand?
No.
Yikes. Oh, yikes. Oh, I felt that, Tao. I felt that.
Oh, nice. You have to share beds.
Oh.
Well, I'm having the window, but I want the other bed.
Oh. Guys!
I guess I'll share with Tao and you can share with Isaac.
Yeah.
Bloody hell, if that was my friends, I would immediately just assume that they're gonna have a bed together. Like, I wouldn't even question it. That's so shitty.
I thought you'd find it awkward sharing with Nick. Just standing next to her makes me feel like I'm being electrocuted.
Okay.
Ugh.
Okay, makes sense that given how Tao is feeling and his experience, he thinks like he's putting his feelings onto Charlie and thinking that Charlie wouldn't have wanted that, and so he did that for him. Whereas it's probably the opposite, but at least in his mind, he was being a good friend. Tara, I'm surprised you're able to get over this. Like, I would not be able to be around Darcy until I found out. Like, I would feel so awkward. Like, because I would be so confident that the love was there. I suppose maybe that's why she is okay with it. Because she knows that the love's there. Maybe she's having a hard time saying it.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Oh,
Oh, this is so awkward. Oh, bless. I wonder if that's kind of a metaphor for what we're seeing. Like, Charlie's hand wasn't there, but Nick's was. Kind of a vibe of he's withdrawing. Oh my god. An olive branch, bless him. Well done, Tao. Oh, the speed at which his hair just went. What cutie.
I wanted to share a bed with you.
Same. I'm sure we'll get to do it one day.
Oh.
I didn't mean... I didn't mean to do it.
Oh.
Sharing a bed, that's all. That came out wrong.
I know what you meant. I can't wait.
They're just too cute for my little heart.
Charlie! You two coming?
Darcy!
Oh, you're being gay.
You're being
Good job.
Well, at least I've not lost this challenge yet.
gay.
Oh, you're gonna lose.
Really?
Just you wait.
Really?
You're gonna want to lose, mate.
Hi. Meet back here by the coach at 5 p.m, please.
We should get one of those padlocks and write our initials on it.
You joking? So lame.
Yeah, Imogen, this is what I mean, my darling. This boy is not someone that you want to be with, and I just... The way that something like that would usually get me angry, but I'm so past angry with Ben. Like, I'm so past just the feeling of like, oh, what you said has pissed me off. I'm just at the point of like, yeah, that's how he is. Don't like him. I hate him. Bye. You know what I mean? So it just, the only thing that I am feeling is I feel sadness for Imogen. I feel sadness knowing the last episode when she was talking about the fact that she doesn't have many friends, she doesn't have many people that like her, and Ben likes her, but I don't think he likes you in the way that you deserve, Imogen. You are not being treated the way that you deserve. For someone to come out with, that's so lame. He obviously does not give a shit about your feelings. It is what it is. Bless her heart, though. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not actually annoyed at her.
Drink. An alcoholic drink.
We probably shouldn't drink alcohol.
Why don't you get a drink together?
Come on.
Stop. Don't tell me the teachers end up together. That would be like the best thing in the world.
What's the plan?
What about the museum?
I don't know. I think museums are kind of boring.
Renoir painted that.
Yeah, it's a really important place in art history.
We can meet you in a couple of hours.
Just us?
Sure.
Good job, guys. Good job.
Mischief maker. I've influenced you.
I've influenced you, bless. This is what I mean, Charlie. You've got to be honest about your feelings and your needs. It's just going to eat you up inside.
It's nice that we get a chance to hang out outside the library for once.
Yeah, it's nice just to be around other gay people. You guys have such a cool friendship group. Est-ce que je pourrais avoir deux bulles de glace au chocolat s'il vous plaît?
Oui, bien sûr.
Everyone's just constantly getting shocked.
Since when could you speak French, like an actual French person?
Oh, my dad's French.
Since when?
Since birth, I believe.
Why do I not know this?
I don't know. I don't know why none of you know this. Why do we not know this? Why does it just come up now?
Why does it look like we're not okay?
It looks like Nick is so in.
Okay, right. I did not expect this duo, and have we ever had this duo? This is incredible because they're both having feelings in their relationships that they're feeling uncomfortable about. Like Charlie's feeling uncomfortable about he should be sharing his needs and he let his needs go, which isn't a good idea. Like letting them go because you're trying to make your partner happy. Especially like Nick wouldn't have wanted Charlie to let it go if he realized it was this important to him, if you know what I mean. I feel like letting your needs go is not the same as adjusting to a relationship. Like a relationship takes effort on both sides, takes efforts to, I don't know, mold yourself is the wrong wording. I can't think of the right word and it's annoying me. Like you change certain aspects of yourself, but not fundamentally. I just mean in a way that fits your relationship better, but you can't change the fundamental points of you as a person. And Charlie cannot deal with being in the closet in this relationship. And he needs to be honest about that so that Nick can understand. If he's not honest about it, then Nick will think that it is okay that they're still in the closet. And yes, it might make him feel a bit more comfortable, but then it just makes you draw away Charlie and it's not worth that pain. And then the same thing with Tara being able to talk to Charlie and understanding that maybe Charlie will be able to give Tara a different side of things when it comes to Darcy's point of view and why she hasn't said the L word, why she hasn't come out with it. It's not necessarily that she doesn't feel that way, it's just the word itself might have a big meaning to Darcy that she just can't express, you know? Yes, anyway, apologies for the rambling. Let's get into it.
It looks like Nick is so in love with you. It's a bit unbearable to watch sometimes.
I suppose I'm sort of jealous of you and Darcy.
Interesting.
How you can hold hands and kiss, and I really want that. But I don't want Nick to get bullied like I was.
I know, my boy.
Eventually, you stop caring about all those people. We just realised.
Oh, stop.
And even if you're not great, I'll still think you're great because I always think you're great. And I'll clap really loud even if you fall over and mess up the entire thing.
Me and her were all that mattered.
Bless.
I'm jealous of you and Nick in some ways too.
What? Why?
Yeah, I love
You
this.
both talk about your feelings. Darcy just makes everything into a joke.
Sorry to pause in all of this. There are a few points I wanted to talk about. I absolutely love the way they've done this. Like, the fact that they are both jealous of each other's relationships in different ways, because not only will that help the other one understand that no matter how hard things are getting, the fact that someone is jealous of your relationship shows that there is something there, shows that there is a lot of love there. But not just that, but to have that connection with someone where you think their relationship is perfect, they think yours is, but both of you talk about it, you're like, oh, we do actually have our issues. It's not as, yes, they're big issues, but you get what I mean? It's not as like, I don't know, it doesn't feel as doomful. It doesn't feel like the world is ending and our relationship is the worst one because we're having these issues. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can feel very, very, very focused on the negatives and it's hard to look at the positives sometimes. And I think that that's where they've both got to here. Their anxieties and their insecurities have been playing so much on their minds, which are fair. They just need to be honest. But I do appreciate that Tara is, oh my God, fucking hell, Harry. I do appreciate that Tara is also bringing up the fact that Darcy turns everything into a joke and that she is trying to get her to open up and talk. Because I think we saw it, like, Tara would be feeling very insecure in this moment and she would be feeling a little bit upset that Darcy, it's not necessarily that she wants Darcy to say that she loves her. It's the fact that even to say, like, I have very strong feelings for you, but I don't know if I'm there yet, is an answer. Darcy hasn't given her an answer. She's just ignored it with a joke and moved on. And I think not having an answer is the worst thing because it makes you question everything. And so it was really big of Tara to even say to Darcy on the bus about the fact that when Tara said that she loved Darcy, she didn't say anything back. The fact that she even brought that up took a load of strength, but Darcy still couldn't bring herself to do it. So I think we need to sit down with Darcy and a nice little, like, look into her mind to figure out why she is like that and if we can try and get her to open up a bit, you know?
said I love you to her last week, and she didn't say it back. So, like, maybe she didn't even want to.
I think she does.
I'm sure she does want to.
It's not that.
They're out of mint chocolate chips, so I had to get a strawberry.
Shall we go and sit down there? It's a better view.
Oh, you should have got bubble gum.
I'm still full from breakfast.
So you didn't eat that much breakfast?
Yeah, I did.
Interesting.
Chocolate, not bubble gum.
Oh, you're a good influence on me.
Interesting though. We'll touch on that later.
There we go.
Bless them. I mean, he's still got a little bit there, Nick. You might want to you might want to help him out.
Tao, I think
We don't have to talk about it.
No, you do.
we should talk about it,
I agree with what you said. Things were better when we were just friends.
right?
No.
Yeah.
I hope that they continue this conversation because that is very frustrating. Tao, you needed to give her a moment to speak because by jumping in with what she said in an emotional moment, be honest about your feelings. Things were better when you were friends, but you need to elaborate. Things were better when you were friends because trying to get into this relationship, a lot of uncomfortable feelings have come out, which is normal. Like going from best friends to being in a relationship, there would be these weird moments. There would be these awkward feelings and you should discuss them. You shouldn't just say, oh, they were better when we were friends. Let's just not try because it could be a million times better on top of that being together, you know? It just sucks.
Our friendship is really important to me.
Me too. I don't want to stop being friends. Shall we go look at some art now?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they need this. Maybe they need to go back to being friends to understand the love that they have a little bit better. And then it will make them be honest, you know?
Imagine living somewhere like this and just being able to paint all day.
That'll be you in like 3 years' time.
Hell yeah, it will.
And manifesting.
I'm manifesting.
That way?
That's when you know you got a good egg, when he's like talking to strangers and seems quite seems quite socially awkward, and yet he's still able to give them a good photo. He still wants them to have a nice photo. Like, that's so cute.
How did it go? Fine. We're totally back to normal.
It was fun. It was really fun.
And that's it.
As if. No.
You might be friends again, my darling, but the feelings are still there, that's for sure.
We'll go to the museum.
Imogen. Yeah, right, okay. That's confirmed it. That has absolutely confirmed it. He is only with Imogen because he wants to get a Nick. Like I said it from the beginning, I didn't want to believe it for Imogen's sake, but the look that he gave Nick and immediately pulled her closer, fucking disgusting, fucking gross that he is basically using her like an item to get back at him. Like, fuck you, Ben. Just when I thought you couldn't get any worse, fuck you. This is what I mean about not wanting a redemption for Ben. It's just like, his character is just too far gone that he could go and save a puppy from getting run over in the road, and I'd want him to hand the puppy over to Nick and then get shot in the head. Like, I don't care. Obviously, that's a bit extreme, but you get what I mean. It's like, in terms of a TV show character, I don't care about him anymore. He's too far gone.
Hey guys, do you guys mind if I hang with you for a bit? Ben's being so boring.
Good job, Imogen. Don't let him ruin your little holiday, bastard.
It's like he doesn't even want to hang out with me anymore now that we're dating. All he cares about is having a girlfriend.
Yeah, because it's like a title for him.
I'm not even sure he likes me that much.
Do you even like him?
Good point, Elle.
He sounds horrible.
Yeah.
I thought maybe you and Tao.
No, not gonna happen.
I'm sorry, but I absolutely adore Imogen being brought into the group. I love her. No comment on that.
Je suis intolerant l'oignon et l'ail. I'm serious, big man. I get bloated. It's not funny.
I'm serious, big man. I get bloated. Interesting. Yeah. We are getting some worrying signs from Charlie when it relates to food. I guess we'll have to see how he develops this season, but that is a very concerning thing. And I do wonder whether it's got anything to do with Ben. I do wonder whether being in such close proximity to Ben is making those feelings heightened. Like, I want to try and understand in Charlie's head what goes through his mind when he looks at that food, what goes through his mind in terms of what he's telling himself and why he doesn't want to take that bite, you know?
I haven't spoken to you properly in ages.
For good reason.
How's your first day in Paris?
Fuck off.
Not interested in how my day was then?
Nice, Imogen.
Why are you in the mood with me?
What do you mean? You're supposed to be my boyfriend. But instead you got some sort of obsession with Charlie.
Uh-oh.
I don't know why you're obsessed with Charlie.
Uh-oh.
And to be honest, I don't even care. All I know is you're a terrible boyfriend, and I deserve better. I'm breaking up with you.
Imogen!
Your energy's off.
Your energy's off.
That you need to resolve before you're ready to be in a relationship. And I'm not going to wait around for you. I think it's time I focused on myself.
If you don't want to be with me anymore.
Right, okay, sorry to pause before we've had his response, but quite honestly, I don't care. Imogen, you fucking queen! That is all I was asking for. That is all I wanted from her, all I needed from her. And she delivered plus 1,000. Go the fuck off. Not only did she do that to protect herself, not only did she do that to defend herself because she fucking does deserve better, but she basically called him out in front of everyone for being a shit boyfriend. The only thing that is a little bit of a in this situation is bringing up to the room that he is obsessed with Charlie, because you're bordering on the lines of outing someone, which there is a big discussion around this, and I think that you can have a different opinion of it. You can have an opinion that if someone is very outwardly homophobic and is a literal abuser, you like... It goes along the lines of, I don't care if he's outed. You know what I mean? Like, that's one side of things. The other side of things is that for a lot of people, it's such a cornerstone moment in their life, and it was such a, like, hurtful period in people's lives being outed, so they don't want it to happen to anyone, even someone like Ben. And I think arguments can be made for both sides. I don't really know where I lie. I feel uncomfortable with the idea of someone being outed, but at the end of the day, when he's been physically abusive to Charlie, and then he's basically used Imogen as if she's like this object girlfriend that he can just use for the title of girlfriend. I don't really care that much, to be honest. I think I do definitely lean towards the side of, if he's outed, he's outed. The pain he's caused other people, it's just like, this could be just karma coming right back around, you know? But anyway, I guess we'll see what happens in regards to his character as the season goes on, you know?
If you don't want to be with me anymore, that's fine. You don't have to be such a bitch about it.
Fuck you.
Benjamin, language.
He's got a point, man. Pipe down.
There's no need to call her a bitch.
Wow, Harry. Harry stood up for her. What? Don't you dare.
Fine then.
Don't you dare. Okay, good. When he looked at Nick, I was concerned that he was about to say something. Nice. Good job getting up and going to get her. Good friends.
I think it was one of the coolest things I've ever seen, so...
Me too. Queen shit, Imogen.
Did you and Ben ever? It doesn't matter. He's gone now. Ugh, everything would be so much easier if I was into girls.
Oh, my darling.
I'm not so sure about that, but I know what you mean.
I know the mentality you think, but relationships are relationships. They're hard, and people are assholes no matter what their sexuality is. Nothing to do with that, my darling. Oh, look at this trio. What a bunch of cuties. I honestly, Imogen, after that, Imogen is my MVP for the season. So far. Something could happen later on, but fucking MVP.
How'd it go with Elle today?
Oh.
It was fine.
You know what? One thing I will say about Nick is, I mentioned in a previous episode when him and Tao had that blow up in the garden, I didn't like how Tao acted. I was reading the comments and trying to understand it a bit more, and I did understand where people were coming from when they mentioned about the fact that Nick and Tao's friendship is very new, and going into something that is, even though Nick was asking in a good way, and he was trying to keep it lighthearted, and it was just like casual conversation. It was casual conversation about something that was so deep in Tao, and after he had just had that like negative moment with Elle, it was just like very wrong timing. So I didn't blame Tao for that at all, but what I do want to say is I really appreciate that Nick keeps trying. I really appreciate that Nick understands that Tao is very important to Charlie, and he understands, and probably he likes Tao. It's just that they had this awkward beginning, because obviously Tao had a lot of protective feelings for Charlie, and he was trying to keep Charlie safe, was weary of Nick, and it just made things a little bit awkward. But I really appreciate that Nick keeps trying. I appreciate that he keeps being like, you know what? I'm going to put that olive branch out again, and I'm going to keep trying until we build that relationship, you know?
We just walked around the museum for a bit.
Good job, Tao. Open up.
Well, I always thought you two would be good together. So.
You don't get it. Elle is literally the most amazing person in the world. I was her friend when she came out as trans, and that was not a fun time for her. Why would she ever like me anyway?
Tao.
Cool and interesting and beautiful. And
I think those are the exact words she would use to describe you.
I think you're pretty cool too. And interesting.
But not beautiful.
Well.
Oh, I love that Isaac's always just chilling on the sidelines listening to every word.
I thought you didn't even like me.
I do like you, Tal. You're into weird indie films that I probably wouldn't understand. You care about your friends so loudly without worrying what anyone else might think, and
that is a beautiful trait. You sell yourself short, Tal.
I'm gonna go get something from the vending machine. Isaac, you coming?
Yeah, sure.
I feel like Isaac comes across as one of those people who has so much wisdom within him. Like, if you had asked his opinion, like, on something, he would immediately have the knowledge to give to you. You know? Like, that's the vibe I get him. Like, what's the word where, like, someone is wise beyond their years? Oh, he uploaded it. Good step, Nick.
Did you just post another photo of me on Instagram?
I might have.
Oh.
Hi.
Hi.
Oh my god, Nick, you giant rugby idiot!
You giant rugby idiot.
You seem kind of down today.
I just wanted to be alone with you.
Bless them.
You taste like toothpaste.
Well, he has just brushed his teeth.
But I literally just have brushed my teeth, so...
Put me in the writer's room. Yeah, that's my biggest secret, guys. I secretly write this show.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Is that okay? Mm-hmm. Oh. Bless them.
Nick, we should stop. We're gonna get caught.
This is what I mean. Sorry to pause on that. I know that they were about to talk more, but this is what I mean. It's causing Charlie a lot of anxiety, this whole getting caught thing. And Charlie needs to understand that his feelings of being anxious and all of that are just as Nick's feelings of being anxious about coming out, you know? Like, you're allowed to feel that way, Charlie. You can't see yourself as causing him pain for simply wanting to live your life a certain way, you know? So I hope Nick is like, you know what? No, I don't care, you know? But I wouldn't get down on Nick for not being that way, because again, he is entitled to his feelings. They just need to figure out a compromise.
I think you lost the challenge.
Failed it miserably. Oh, that's the end? What the fuck? No! But oh shit. You might have to go and see if someone has some makeup to cover that up, or else you're gonna have a bit of an awkward explanation if someone asks. So yes, there we have season 2, episode 4 of Heartstopper, and that was a fantastic episode. It was a nice healing episode, even though there were some very negative points. It was a nice healing episode in the sense that we got to see Tao and Elle get to a better place. Is it the place that I want them to be? No, but it's much better than where they were, and at least with being friends, they can have those good feelings come back, and that might push them towards maybe exploring it again, you know? But another good feeling that we got was Imogen. Oh my god, blowing up at Ben. Fucking beautiful. I love her so much. That was the best thing she could have ever done. And honestly, I hate to say it, but because I really don't like Ben, the fact that she did it in front of everyone makes me so much happier, because, like, actually get fucked. Now, in terms of the more negative side of things this episode, obviously exploring Charlie, and it looks as though we're going to be exploring some kind of eating disorder, which sucks. I appreciate them showing it in the show, and I want to see where they take it. I would love to see good representation for that so that people can, I don't know, understand more about it, you know, especially for a show catered towards younger people. It'll be so, what's the word? I don't know why I'm struggling to find the word today. It would be so beneficial for people to have that, like, to see this, you know, that's what I'm trying to say. But yeah, when it comes to his character though, I just feel so bad, and knowing that he's struggling so much with the idea of coming out with Nick, it's just like, Charlie just seems to be in a very, very negative space right now. even though he is so happy with Nick, and when they're together, he is the happiest. But just because when they're together, it still isn't what he wants of being together, you know, and it just fucking sucks. But yes, anyway, now I believe I covered most things I wanted to talk about in the episode. We do have some Patreon questions, which I did forget to do last week. I fully apologize. I don't know why it slipped my mind. But we are going to have a lot this time then, because I'm going to cover the episode 3 ones, and then we're going to get into the episode 4 ones. Right, our first episode 3 question. Since Imogen is a show edition, she's one of the biggest ways that the show still give comics fans, oh my god, I said that weird, still gives comics fans new plots to mull over. What are your thoughts on Imogen so far this season? How do you feel about her dating Ben? And is there a direction you want to see her go in the rest of the season and further? Now, this was obviously asked in episode 3, but I'm going to discuss episode 4 as well because I feel like it ties in quite well. In terms of how I feel about Imogen, even last episode, she is one of my favorite people in the show. She is someone who, she struggles to be liked. She struggles to feel liked in the world. And it's really sad, but it speaks to so many people's experiences in life, especially at that age, feeling like you don't have a core friend group, feeling like you don't have these people that you can rely on, and feeling like you're just completely unlovable. Like, it's going to affect your, what's the word? It's going to affect your self-perception and your self-image. You're just going to have such a negative opinion of yourself. And so I just really appreciate that Imogen is kind of that representation for the show. Now, in terms of what happened this episode, what a fucking queen. MVP of the season so far for me. The way that she stood up to Ben, and the way that she just so quickly, like, he looked at Charlie and started talking to him, asking about his day. And so she had every fucking right to be like, excuse me? How dare you? How dare you go and ask him how his day is? And you've barely spoken to me. And the only times you have spoken to me, you've treated me like shit. Like, go the fuck off, Imogen. Because not only do I like that she did it in front of everyone in terms of, like, that's going to be worse for Ben, and the worse for Ben, the better in my mind. But not just that, but for her own sake, like, that would take so much courage to do in front of everyone. Like, you would have to be so sure of the feelings that you're having to be able to blow up like that. Like, if she was feeling insecure about, like, oh, maybe it is just me, maybe I'm doing things wrong and that's why he's not talking to me. No, she was like, you know what? I've done fucking everything. I've treated you well and you're just treating me like shit. I'm going to call you out. Like, what a queen. That is all I have to say. Now, next up, I know everyone pretty much hates Harry and Ben, and you've said previously about not wanting a redemption arc for Ben, but what is your opinion on Harry's storyline, and what do you think will happen the rest of the season in regards to him? It's interesting, because from what we saw of Harry and when he said this slur, it kind of like, I already had a negative opinion of him, obviously, just based on his own actions, but then that kind of shot him down to be with Ben, but I don't know. For me, it's all about repeated actions. It is all about change, and it is all about how you handle yourself and how you go about life. Using that kind of slur is very much because he has been brought up that way. Not necessarily his parents, but like even his social status, like being a popular boy, being a popular straight boy, and having all these friends and having banter where you take the mick out of each other and all that. Those kind of words slowly over time become less, I don't know the word. They become like just another word for them, which is horrendous and it's not okay. But that's why I have the opinion of Harry where I don't know. I don't know whether I am open to seeing him redeemed. Maybe not necessarily redeemed. I would never see him in a positive light just because of the pain that he not just caused them, but like caused me. Like hearing that word in season 1 sent me into like a fight or flight mode. It was like, oh, like, it's one of those words that just like stays with you. And so because I myself had that reaction, it's like, I don't know whether I could ever be happy with him, but I don't want him like out of, like, if we're talking about the school and like continuing to be in Nick and Charlie and everyone else's lives, I want Ben out of their lives so much more than I do Harry, because Ben has such a continuous negative influence and he doesn't change. He continues his actions, continues to treat everyone like shit, and it's just not okay. So in terms of like where Harry stands in my mind redemption arc wise and what I think will happen this season, this episode we did see him defend Imogen when Ben called her a bitch, so he does have some kind of moral compass there. It's just like he doesn't have it towards that word, like he doesn't have it towards gay people. Like, I don't know what goes on through his mind, you know. From what we've seen, he's not exactly the most intelligent lad, so maybe that's it as well. Maybe he's just bloody stupid, but I definitely have more negative feelings towards Ben. That's for sure. Yes. Anyway, that covers the episode 3 questions. So let's move on to episode 4. There are quite a lot. So if I feel like the question has already kind of been answered in my comments in the episode, then I'm going to skip it. No offense to you. It's just like, we got a lot of questions this time. But yes. Okay. Right. First up, in an alternate universe, do you think Charlie should have made Tao switch with Nick so they should share one of the beds? I do think so. I feel like... Because it sucks, because at the time I said that it sucks that Tao didn't think of Charlie's feelings and didn't think that he would want to share a bed with Nick. But then Tao explaining it and thinking that it would be awkward for Charlie because Tao was kind of projecting his own feelings onto them. I understood where he was coming from a lot more. But I do think that once Charlie heard that, Charlie should have been like, oh, I completely understand that. But like, I was actually really looking forward to sharing a bed with Nick. Would there be any way that you could go with Isaac and then we can have this bed? Because I think Tao would have said yes. Tao wouldn't have just been like, oh no, I'm not going to share a bed with Isaac. You know what I mean? Like, I think he did it because in his mind, he was doing it for Charlie, but it wasn't actually what Charlie wanted. Now, moving on, next up, bit of a big one here. Curious on your thoughts on Imogen's takedown of Ben. I've seen some comments where people feel she outed Ben by pointing out his obsession with Charlie. No one else knew about Ben and Charlie except Nick, but it didn't seem like there were obvious reactions from the other kids to her statement. I can't quite read the situation there. As much as I think Imogen is a queen for putting Ben in his place, I wonder if the public takedown was the right approach. It is a tough one. It is a tough one. Like I said earlier, you can look at it on both sides. I think the reason I'm definitely siding more with the idea of not getting so down on Imogen is because when she went into the bathroom, she literally said that maybe I shouldn't have done that in public. But at the end of the day, with the way that Ben treated Charlie horrendously and the way that he was already starting to treat Imogen, she had every right to get upset. And in that moment, I do not blame her for having an emotional outburst because he had not paid attention to her once that day. He pulled her in close as if she was his fucking property that he could use to get back at Nick. And it was just disgusting to see. And so for him to just sit down and then just so casually be like, you haven't spoken to me today much, Charlie. Like, we haven't seen each other much. How did you enjoy Paris? I would have lost my fucking shit as well. And bless Imogen, I don't think in that moment of the emotional outburst that she realized what she was saying. I don't think that she really thought to herself, so you love Charlie? I think she thought to herself, like, genuinely, why are you paying so much attention to him and not me? Like, I'm confused. And so I think that's where it came from. I think it's all about, what's the word? It's all about intentions. She did not go into that intending to out him. And I think that that is the key thing that we need to think about is that, yes, it was a bad situation in terms of outing someone, but at the end of the day, she wasn't calling him out on that. She was calling him out and treating her like shit. And it needed to be said. So I'm not going to get down on her personally, but I do understand if some people don't feel that way, you know. Next up, how are we feeling about Nick speaking French? I mean, it was sick. I really want to see more of it. Like, I feel like Kit did such a good job, but I don't know French that well. So is his accent actually good? Was it actually good? Because it sounded good to me, but obviously don't speak the language, can't say. But it was really cool to see because it was an element of his character that we haven't explored before. But in terms of like seeing his dad, based on what his brother said last time about the fact that like, have you told dad yet? Oh no, I'm a little bit scared for Nick. A little bit scared for Nick and Charlie and what his dad's reaction will be. Right, next up, thoughts on Harry defending Imogen after she was called a bitch. I found that incredibly interesting how out of place that statement felt for his character. I don't know, because they're part of the same friendship group. They've known each other for a while. Obviously, they're not best friends, but I feel like when someone's part of your group, and especially when she is like the only girl who is part of the group, I feel like a group of boys would, I don't know. I feel like it depends on the friendship group. But based on their friendship group and how Imogen feels towards them all, like she doesn't feel like she's just like, I don't know, looked down on for being a girl in the group. The fact that she feels comfortable enough in that group makes me think that there is some level of friendship there. So I can understand him being like, hey, don't call her a bitch. But I don't think it excuses any of his past behavior. And I don't think it was very out of character, but I do find it funny that he can't see the irony in the fact that he's defending Imogen, but then he's the one who used a word that is potentially even worse than that, you know? Like, obviously not saying one's better than the other and all of that. Like, it can affect, calling a woman a bitch could be the same exact feeling that you get being called the F-slur when you're a gay man. But I just mean in the sense of, like, how can he not see that? How can he not see how stupid that thought process is, that he can't connect the dots and realize that he basically did the same. Like, what? And that's what I mean about like character redemption for him. I don't know. It's nothing that I'm looking for, but I definitely see Ben as worse. But at the end of the day, it still doesn't mean that Harry's good, you know? Now, next up, what are your thoughts on the chat between Tao and Nick? Why do you think Tao believed Nick didn't like him? I think it was just a classic example of insecure, and because you've had negative feelings towards him over wanting to protect Charlie, you would think that he would have negative feelings towards you, thinking that you have like kept Charlie from him, you know, which is silly. I don't think that's the case. I think if you are a mature person, which all of these characters in this show, even though they're young and they do exhibit a lot of, the show does a very good job of writing these characters realistically, you know, but the only, not necessarily unrealistic part, but the only part that is a little less believable with people of this age is that they are all very mature. Like when it comes to the serious stuff, even though they have these even though they have these like teen mentalities with certain things, in other ways, they are just so mature and wise beyond their years, you know? And so I don't think that someone like Nick would ever look at Tao protecting Charlie and think, fuck you. You know, like you would see it as like, oh, it makes my heart warm that you have such good friends. Right, next up, the ending scene is iconic. How do you think the boys will deal with it? Oh God, I don't know. Like I said, maybe he could borrow makeup from someone and try and cover it up, but if not, I don't know. I don't know how they're going to deal with that unless Charlie just like wears a fucking scarf in the middle of summer or like a jumper and he like has the hood covering it. I don't know. Like that's just such an awkward thing to have to deal with. But yeah, the next part to that question is, on a separate note, what is your impression of Nick's dad and his relationship with Nick? I also want to point out the scene on the bus where Tao learns about Nick's dad, because I read it as Tao being surprised at finding another person who doesn't have a father in their life. Ah, in the last place he expected. Yeah. That's true. I didn't connect the dots on that. That would be something that Tao could be like, oh, maybe we do have a little bit more in common and maybe we can get on a bit better than I expected, you know? Thank you for mentioning that because I didn't pick up on that. But in terms of my impression of Nick's dad and his relationship with him, I don't know, because I'm a little bit scared because it doesn't seem like they're that close if we've never seen him talk to him before and we've never seen them have these moments, but we don't see everything. We don't see 24/7 what goes on in Nick's life. So maybe they do call like every evening or something, you know? But with what his brother said about his dad, like, have you told dad yet? Didn't he say, oh, he's going to flip, or like, it was a negative kind of comment. And that scares me. That makes me think that, oh no, is that going to bring Nick down and make him not want to come out even further? I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But yes, anyway, next up, where would you like to see Imogen's storyline go for the rest of the season? This episode made me so excited about her potential character growth. Any thoughts on where you see Ben's storyline going to? I've talked a lot about Ben's and what I want. I just kind of want him out of the show. I don't see a redemption for him. If there is a redemption, I don't really care for it. Like, it's not something I'm looking for. But I love the actor. Don't get me wrong. I love the actor. He is such a nice guy. And that is the only thing that stops me from absolutely hating his face, is seeing the actor in him. But his character's just so ugh. And even though I don't want the actor out of the show, I want Ben out. I don't want Ben around. He offers nothing good. And it just makes me sick seeing him interact with Charlie, especially this episode. The way he just casually tried to talk to Charlie. Fuck off, Ben. It's just not okay. But yeah, in terms of Imogen, I don't know. I don't know where I want to see Imogen's storyline go. Obviously, I want to see her grow closer with the friendship group and potentially find romance, because not that I think that you need romance, especially at this age, they're all so young, but someone like Imogen, it does seem like it's something that she desires so much. She desires that companionship so much. So I feel like it would be good for her, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. You've got to find the right kind of person. You can't just settle. And it seemed like she was settling for Ben. Like when Elle said to her, do you even like him? And Imogen just looked forward like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's your answer, my darling. You can't settle. You got to find a good egg. And I hope she does find one. I hope she does find one, and someone who will treat her the way she deserves, you know? Right, next and final question. What are your thoughts on Tao's growth this season, given everything that we've learned about his character so far? I have grown so much closer to him. Like, I never had like a negative view of him in season 1. He did things that upset me, and he did things where I thought, oh, Tao, why did you do that? But I understood that it came from a place of hurt, and it came from a place of protecting Charlie. But going into this season and understanding his character so much more, like the conversation with his mum, which, can I say, his mum is like close behind Imogen on my MVP, and she had like one major scene, you know, like she was just so fucking beautiful in that scene. But the conversation that they had, and we got to see that side of Tao who we understand that with the loss of his father, that's where his feelings of loss and not wanting to lose people come from. And it's sad, and it's something that he really will just need to work on as he goes through his life, because exploding and having emotional reactions due to those feelings never end well. And if it continues to be a problem, it might be something that he needs to look into to get some professional guidance on. But in terms of his character in the show and all that, it's allowed me to connect with him so much more and understand him on such a fundamental level that we didn't have before. And I just really appreciate that. Really appreciate they've given us this time to get to know him. The only real person that we have left to fully get to know out of like the core main OG friendship group is Isaac. And I hope we get more of him. That is one thing that I want out of this season. I want more of Isaac and his storyline, which it does seem like we're getting sprinkles, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Yes. Anyway, with all that said, absolutely fantastic episode. Loving where the direction of the show is going. Also love that the Paris trip is going to be more than one episode, because I assume we're continuing next episode, because they said it was for a couple of days, wasn't it? And we've only got one day. Maybe I'm wrong though. Maybe they will go home, but I hope we still get Paris next episode, because that'll be cool. But yes, anyway, with all that said, I'm done rambling. Thank you very much for watching. I've left a link down below to my Patreon, be able to find the early and uncut reactions for Heartstopper and all the other shows that I do. Also left a link to my Twitch, my Discord, and my socials, so be sure to follow them if you're interested. And yes, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.